Recently, I came across this thread from Dr. Salmon. This post, all 10 of these talking points, they really touched some women. So I said I was going to come back to it and read off some of the comments that I got in the women's post. But before I do that, I'm just going to review some of the things that she said in this particular post if you haven't seen the video. She says, I'm a psychologist. I've been training high performing women for 20 years, and I'll tell you in 2 minutes. Here are 10 brutal truths about what holds high performing women back and how it's rooted in trauma and patriarchy. She said this is a feminist thread. She says, overachievement is often a trauma response. Many women succeed to prove they're worthy because love felt conditional growing up. 2. People pleasing masks fear of abandonment. Girls are taught to be nice, not honest. Number 3, perfectionism is internalized patriarchy. You were conditioned to believe you must be flawless to be worthy of power. Number 4, self-silencing is learned early. Girls get praised for being quiet and agreeable. Number 5, imposter syndrome is gaslighting in disguise. It's not personal, it's how women respond to being underestimated. Number 6, visibility feels unsafe, not empowering. Patriarchy taught women that being seen equals being punished. Number 7, caretaking gets confused with self-worth. Many women believe their value lies in how much they do for others. Number 8, burnout is disguised as self-abandonment. Constant overworking equals chronic self-neglect. Number 9, boundaries feel dangerous, not empowering. Saying no as a child equals emotional risk. That pattern continues into leadership. It continues into relationships as well. Number 10, success can trigger survival guilt, especially for daughters of immigrants or survivors. Success feels like betrayal. In my previous video, I dive deeper into some of these. We talk about it, we expand on it. I just wanted to say what they are because now I'm going to read some of the comments that were left on the post. Island Girl says, I can relate to this as someone who was bullied and criticized growing up. It drove me to succeed, but it also made me afraid of failure and self-conscious about being the center of attention. Grace's comment is kind of a long one, but she says, oh my God, last year I was about 10 kilograms slimmer. I was working out regularly, eating healthy, and I was the fittest I've ever been. Physically, mentally, I was a wreck. Doing much better now. Thank you, therapy, LOL. And I absolutely hated the attention I was getting. I hated men looking at me, complimenting me, strangers trying to get my number. I liked the way I looked and was proud of my achievements, so I was indeed showing my body a bit. But I've never thought that type of attention would make me feel so unsafe. I had a male coworker that I've maybe spoken to a handful of times calling me a sex machine in front of a bunch of other people. In his mind, this was a compliment. And compliments from other women are always appreciated. Even as a queer woman myself, there's no malicious intent behind it, even if the woman that's complimenting you is gay herself. But men, they look at you like you are a piece of meat and they want to devour you. So she's honing in on the part where being seen is unsafe. My Hair Chronicle says, as the daughter of an immigrant, I can tell you that average was not an option. Average was failure. I didn't come to this country for you can fill in the blank. Anything less than exceptional was intolerable, and that is huge pressure to put on a child. Fallacy Bites hones in on being seen feels unsafe. She says, yes, to this day, I can't dress differently than I normally do because the comments and looks make me feel exposed. Globally Interested says, this is super interesting to me. I love fashion, but I spent all of my 20s and lots of my 30s working the line between the art aspect and the armor aspect of fashion. I don't mind my style being noticed, but I was super careful about making sure my clothes didn't accentuate too much of my body. I enjoy looking put together, but I also know my appearance is part of how I get taken seriously. Plus, respectability politics are real, and I was trying to stay under the straight male gaze radar as much as possible. As I've gotten older, I figured it out. They'll harass anyone in anything, so I worry about it less, but it's still a pretty One thing about it, if you are a thick woman, a woman with a big butt, sometimes you can't help but have your curves accentuated and you get labeled as such. People slap labels on you for simply showing up how you actually are. It's so odd, and there's nothing that you can really do about it. People make you feel self-conscious about showing up how you are. Like, what am I supposed to do about this body? This is the body I got. This is the only one. Maria G says, these are all profound insights, and yes, I see myself in most, and women I love in all of them. But I'm going to push back on one part of your analysis, caretaking. I'm perfectly fine with people pushing back. I don't always get it right, and I don't always flesh out everything. She says, you limited caretaking to overdoing it in cooking and cleaning, and I'm sure you'd include care for the vulnerable or the sick in there. High achieving women care for others in many ways, in other ways though, including all the skills we've acquired with our multiple degrees and certificates, etc. The woman who does everyone's taxes, the educator who always has the extra time for students, the woman who designs a better community garden, the team of women who show up to do minor repairs and beautification when a friend is planning to sell her home, the colleague who covers for the people who fall behind. They're all fulfilling that expectation that they should give everything they have to serve others. Great analysis and great comment. She said cooking and cleaning may or may not be piled on top of this, but we're talking about high achieving women. Great points, great analysis. Miss Mia Afro Goddess makes a great point. She says, this is so deep. I know it's off topic, but all of these are reasons why I left organized religion. The devaluation of women who are the literal backbone of the faith was enough to make me never engage with that again. And you do have to high achieve. You don't get the glory. You don't get any of the successes. You don't get any of the money that the pastor gets, but you have to perform. You have to be pious. You have to be pure and all of that. It's all a performance in church. You have to have a certain image about you. You have to cosplay purity and all of that. And it's a lot. And you have to do that when you go out into your job. You have to do that sometimes to make it, in a relationship sometimes. It gets tiresome. And sometimes you just want to, be you, but then sometimes you can't take off that mask. I Write Speeches says 7 of them. She relates to 7 of them. Baggy clothes to avoid male gaze, quiet, overachieving boundaries, saying no to people, people pleasing because I'd get punished for saying almost anything, and strive to get the love I knew I wasn't, etc. And sometimes when you're striving to get that love that you missed out on, you do go above and beyond. Maybe you are doing that for achievement to fill a void that you had in your childhood or something. Kate Apult says, the visibility one really hit. I have bad posture. I rarely comment or engage online. General attention freaks me out. Amber says, yep, women endure tons of psycho-emotional abuse meant to keep us small. It's why we have to deconstruct from the patriarchy. And then we have Leah saying, oof, I'm almost 50 and all these described me at one point not too long ago. Burnt out hard in my mid-40s. Perimenopause was the trigger. My therapist at the time says she sees this a lot with high-functioning trauma survivors who reach their midlife. Hope younger women will learn from this list and prevent the crash out. And that's the reason why we're talking about it, so women recognize it and can do something about it. Laurel says, this is literally me. I have so much trauma, it's not even funny, except I was never an overachiever academically. I was only ever an overachiever in my grandmother's house when it came to household chores. My grandmother raised me and abused me for years. My mother only showed up when she wanted money. She saw all this happen and never did anything. I wish I was an overachiever. That way I would have been able to leave those people before they ruined my life. I don't see those people anymore. Ashley the Seeker says, I put on weight on purpose from a young age. I thought it was going to keep me safe. I'm 40 and finally want to get to the root of this and heal it. And then my homie Arcadia says, this isn't an attack. This is an all-out assault on me as a person. I feel so seen and attacked. And that's what I said when I found this post and I said that I'm going to read this. I said, this is going to touch a lot of women in my network. It's going to touch a lot of women in general. So let me know what you think, which numbers resonated with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.